Hello, everyone, and welcome to OCI Operations. This is an introduction to automation. My name is Eli Schilling. I'm part of the OCI product management team. In this module, we seek to understand the basics of automation. We will cover an introduction to the core automation tools for OCI. We'll also compare and contrast the different automation tools to dig a little bit deeper into their basic functionality and some various use cases. When it comes to operations in the cloud, there truly are three primary functions that we might consider in terms of approaching this particular topic. First and foremost, the notion of manual operations. This is, we are logging into the OCI Management Console. We are clicking our way through the various management tasks that we need to perform, thus resulting in a very high potential for lack of consistency. Despite the fact that most organizations even have well-documented processes or runbooks, when the same person or even different people follow those processes, when they're performing that task by hand, there is a great chance for inconsistencies to be introduced into the environment. The next option would be to use scripting. This allows us to control deployments and provisioning. We would be creating custom scripts to create, manage, and destroy the resources within our environment. This, of course, could leverage a central repository or source control repository where we could store all of these artifacts for shared use throughout our operations team. One of the key challenges with custom scripting is the need to manage dependencies and manage or understand the relationship between all resources at a very finite level. And then finally, full automation, using tools like Terraform and a combination of third-party tools like Ansible or Chef that help us orchestrate the full stack of operations from deploying and provisioning resources to deploying and managing applications or custom code to destroying resources once their lifespan or useful span of life has come to an end. Now, some automation basics. In the cloud, one often finds themselves performing the same set of tasks over and over. Even when there are slight variations in the requirements, this type of work can be automated. Start by evaluating the most common tasks you perform. If you complete a single task more than a couple of hours per week, or if a single task takes you multiple hours per month and must be performed multiple times in a month, consider finding a way to automate that task. With the cloud, a great example is managing non-production environments, say development or quality assurance. If you were to use a tool like Terraform, you could quickly build the entire environment in a matter of minutes, enable your teams to consume or utilize that environment for a period of time, and then with a single command, you could destroy the entire environment. All of the automation, all of the dependencies are handled by Terraform when it comes to creating or destroying those resources. So automation is really about taking a single function or a set of functions. This is our script or our configuration, being able to press a single button, and then it's 1, 2, 3, done. Within Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, we have a number of different automation components or automation tools available. First and foremost, the APIs. These are REST API endpoints that are available in each of the OCI regions and correlate to the different services within the platform. It is possible to generate direct API assertions against these endpoints, which is typically something that would be done within a application or a custom program that's been developed. Now, what OCI has also done is created these software development kits, or SDKs, and the SDKs are available in a number of different languages, and they're used to abstract the API functionality into a common, well-understood programming language. That means if you're already used to writing programs in Java or Python, it's much easier for you to write custom code to interact with these OCI API endpoints. Next, we have the command line interface. The command line interface, which we'll dig into a little bit deeper in a different module, is actually written in Python. And it's meant to create a single unified command structure that enables you to interact with all OCI services. Next, we have Terraform. This is commonly referred to as infrastructure as code. Terraform is a third-party tool written by a company called HashiCorp that allows you to generate or write configuration that is interpreted by Terraform, which in turn generates the API assertions for you to create, modify, or delete the various resources. And finally, Ansible. Now, Ansible is commonly known as a configuration management tool. However, Oracle has developed a collection of modules for Ansible that enable you to write Ansible playbooks to utilize these modules to create, modify, or delete infrastructure within the OCI ecosystem. This enables you to have a single tool for both infrastructure as code or infrastructure provisioning and configuration management, because Ansible can not only deploy your compute resources and your virtual networks, but it can also deploy and manage code and configuration on top of those compute resources. Another way to look at this is comparing the APIs and the SDKs to the more programmatic tools like Terraform and Ansible. Now, the nice thing here, if you're not a developer, you can use tools like Terraform, Ansible, and the OCI CLI without having any development experience. Both of these or all of these toolkits allow you to do provisioning, whereas Terraform and Ansible will do things like multi-cloud compatibility, and the APIs and SDKs can introduce or facilitate things like custom monitoring and custom actions to interact programmatically with your resources in the cloud. Now, these software development kits, as we mentioned, they are an abstraction of the API functionality, currently available in Ruby, Python, Go, and Java. I have a brief example here that we'll take a look at. So this is a Python sample, and essentially what this is going to do is import the OCI SDK, the OS modules for Python, and then we're simply going to create a signer. So we'll authenticate, and we're going to list all of the OCI object storage buckets available in the designated compartment. Now, to show this live, we'll run a very simple Python command execution. And I'll first show you the script here, just like we saw on the slide. This is a few lines of Python code where if we run this, it will return all of the object storage buckets in my designated compartment. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward. And just as a preview for the next module on the OCI CLI, I could run the same command with the CLI to list all of my buckets, and the output will essentially be the same as the Python command. And there you have it. The output, although formatted slightly differently in JSON, essentially returns the same type of information about the resources in that particular compartment. And there you have it, folks. A quick introduction to automation within OCI. We talked about a few of the various automation tools and components with a quick compare and contrast. And coming up in future modules, we'll be digging a little bit deeper. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.